Okay, so again, starting from Parakid Beis, in Shar Beis and Nefesh Hachaim, V'lechein Omer Rabbi Seinu Zal, and therefore our rabbis have said, Kol HaMeshatev Shem Shamayim B'tzaroi Koiflin Loi Parnasosoi. Anyone who attaches, who partners up, Shem Shamayim, the name of heaven, B'tzaroi, in his suffering, Koiflin Loi Parnasosoi, they double his parnasa. Right, so what's the idea here? That what does it mean? Kol HaMeshatev Shem Shamayim. Meaning, what does it mean to partner up, to attach the name of heaven to your tsar? That's question number one. And question number two is, why is it specifically the reward is the doubling of the parnosa, meaning increase the parnosa, or some. First of all, parnosa in general, but why specifically doubling? This idea of doubling, right? So so what's the pshat? The pshat is as follows: Ki milvad ze atzar shinasa l'mayla. As we spoke about before in the previous chapter, that besides the tsar that when a person is suffering, there's a tsar that's experiencing by the quote unquote twin, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? There is a tsar l'mayla up above. Kashimikabel onshoy b'yisurim, when a person is receiving his punishment via these yisurim, Rachmana litzlan, ein aroich v'dimyon klal ze atzar shel mayla. There's no comparison or any similarity to the tsar, to the pain up above, neged oitzim hatzar, to the initial tsar, shegoram l'mayla be'es asoyso ha'ovein, Rachmana litzlan, that took place, that was experienced at the moment of the sin itself. Okay, so ke'inyan. So this is comparable to haben yakir, a precious son, shenispata b'yenoi, that got drunk, v'nofal la'oretz, got drunk and he fell off a building, and he fell to the ground, v'nishbar mafraktoi v'gufa, and he broke his bones and his body, v'hu mesukan, and now he is in danger. Okay, so right, he's in a coma, he's completely broken up. V'hu atzmai eina margish. Now at that point, he doesn't feel any sort of pain because he's in a coma, right? He doesn't feel how close he is to dying, or how fragile is his life. And Kamashikosav in Mishlei, Hikuni bal chalisi halamuni bal yodati. They hit me, but I don't feel it. I'm not sure halamuni, and I don't know about it. They hurt me, and I don't know about it. Amnam, however, Oviv, his father, the father of the son, right? Liboy mismarmer me'oidol zeh. His heart is completely embittered over this. V'kasher haroifim koshru hashvorim. When the doctors, they straightened out the broken bones. And they placed various bandages and whatnot, medicines from very, very sharp and painful medicine. And at that point, the son is screaming from the pain that he's from all these bandages and these medicines and creams that are that are eating up his flesh, right? That are burning his wounds, right? So even though the father is feeling, he hears the pain of the son and he's crying with him, and he's sighing greatly at this moment that the son is screaming in pain, right? Ein erech klala tzar shloi ato. It's not the real suffering of now is no comparison neged hatzar v'hayogan rishon to the tsar and the worry originally shehoyel oviv that was to the father be'es shenofel at the moment that he fell down v'shiber atzmoisav and he broke his bones asher kemat nisyoish mechayvos, when the father thought that maybe he lost hope in his very survival. Right, so at the moment that the son fell off the building, right, and he was in his drunken state, and he had no idea how close to losing his life, and he had no feeling of pain at that point, right? At that point, the father, who was conscious throughout the whole experience, he felt wow, like the real suffering, when the son is now getting better and he's being healed and he's screaming now from the healing process because the medicines burn his skin, burn his wounds, and he's breathing in pain. The father also feels the pain, but that pain is external. It's not as deep and not as much to the core as the original pain when the damage was done. So now Kain Mamish. So, and very similar, al zeh ha'oifen hu inyan ha'oven rachmanu litzlan, is the idea of the sin, all right? God forbid. Shebe'ez she'odom oiseiho, that at the moment that a person does the sin, hu goyrem lema'alo tzar godel ve'otzim lein aroich, he causes suffering so great that he can't even imagine. V'hodom atzmo ein amargishos b'zeklal, but the person himself has no idea what's happening to the world that he's destroying, like we spoke before. He doesn't have an idea what the damage is causing to his own neshama. He has no idea how great he is kind of severing himself from the source of life. He has no idea that his very soul is hinging on this. Furthermore, he's considered like a dead person at that very moment. Rishoyim b'chayim kurimesim, right? The famous phrase in Chazal says that the Rishoyim, during their lifetime, they're called dead, right? They're called mesim. They're called dead, corpses. Why? Because what does it mean to live? Life is being attached to the source of life. If you severed yourself from God, then that's not called life. You might be alive according to the physical doctors, but that's not called life. You're not living. You're detached from Hashem. That's not life. The only life could be is from the creator of life. V'yesh avonos. Now there are sins, shal yideim nafshe nichreses, right? We know that there are sins that result in kores. Legamri, completely miskashus chevel kedusha, completely cut off the rope that attaches a person to the holiness. Aval hu yizborach shmoi avarachman, but Hashem, blessed be His name, the Father of mercy, merciful Father, he feels the pain, and he in his pain he feels his own pain. And from his great mercy and chesed, now he sends him yisurin, right? He sends that person yisurin for the sin that he did, for the damage that he caused up in Shemaim. Now that person receives yisurin, which are asher hema, which really in truth they are ritia v'tachboishes. They're really a cure and a bandage lemorek avonei to expel, to extract his sin. V'oza the margish kev yisurim mitztayr. Then only a person really feels the pain and the suffering because he feels the yisurim, right? He's going through yisurim, so he feels that pain he feels. Ubezeh misoyer gam kein tzar l'mayla. Now, even through that pain, the pain of yisurin, there is now a new tsar up above that he's suffering. Here's a person suffering. Hashem is also suffering because of this new suffering. Amnam, however, that tsar of Yisurin that Hashem feels because, again, he's like a tu'uma, he's like a twin, as we said before, that he feels the pain of the twin, right? There is that attachment, that in essential, intimate connection between Hashem and His people. And when the person feels the physical pain, Hashem feels the spiritual, the mirror pain. But it's not at all comparable to the pain that Hashem felt, kaviyachol, when the original sin took place and the destruction that came with it, right? V'lachein, therefore, k'shekol tachlis tfilas ha'odem lefonav yizbarach shmoi lehaser me'olav tzaroi. Right. So therefore, if a person who starts praying for his suffering because he feels the suffering, right, to remove the pain from himself, but he concentrates that hurak ala tzar shel mailo hamishtatef imoy b'tzara, that he realizes that he wants his suffering to be removed only because he now feels he understands that there is a suffering that Hashem that is experiencing up above, right? That is mishtatef. He partners with him in his suffering. V'shov u'mischared be'emes alavoinoi. And then as a result, he does tshuva and he regrets in truth, he regrets the sin, Shegoram al Yodo Atzar Shemala. So he understands two things. He understands that, he feels guilty kind of in a double way. He feels guilty in a double way. One is, he feels guilty that there's this original sin, right? And he goes the other way around, but he feels guilty that Hashem is feeling tsar right now because of my tsar. But then he realizes that the reason why Hashem is feeling that tsar is because of my original actions, right? So he says to himself, wow, I can't believe it. My suffering here is causing Hashem suffering now because of my suffering, but it's also causing Hashem, but I also realize that I've caused much greater suffering as a result of my original sin. So Oz Hayisurin Mistalkin Me'alov. So then the Yisurin can be removed from him. Right? Because right, so good. Not only that, and that's why there is a midah keneged midah. What's the midah keneged midah? They double his parnasa. Why double? Neged habeiz minei tsar shegoram lamayla, parallel to the two types of tsar that he caused up above, right? Ve'atam is choret el shneim, and now he has tshuva, he has charota, he has regret on both of those tsaros that he caused. So zdoinus mishapchin loy l'zchiyos. So in such an oifen, in such a situation, his zdoinus, meaning his willful sin, can be truly transformed into a zchus, right? Because so that's why it's the double lotion.
Why parnasa then? Why can't it be just zchus? Okay, he did a scar, he's going to use it. He's going to get paid when he comes to Shemayim. Why you parnasa? Why not help? Why not? I don't know. Sugis of Torah open up to him.
I'm not sure why parnasa. It can be health, but because again we're talking about doubling, right? Why doubling? Because of the two minei tsar. But why is that? Because once a person reaches this madrega that he's able to reflect on the tsar of now and the tsar from before, right? So as a result, he does a tshuva shleima, right? And he mishapech. So he, right? As he says, his mishapech, meaning he is able to turn his original sin into a mitzvah, right? So then the original tsar and the tsar of now are transformed into something positive, right? So he gets a double reward as if he did kind of a double mitzvah, right? So that he has more schus in a way than if he would have done a mitzvah, because he is now there's a doubling of kedusha that has taken place through this charota, through this regret. So I'm not sure why parnasa, but the point is that parnasa is also, meaning any time we daven for physical things, right? So parnasa is the thing that we usually daven for. Parnasa is not necessarily, again, it's not a cheap thing here. I'm going to make double amount of money. That's not what a parnasa is. Parnasa is also as a reflection of my relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Everything is me and my connection. So if my connection is doubled, right? So too my parnasa is doubled. Not parnasa, but again my well-being, right? My well-being is doubled because my spirituality is doubled via this process, right? So let's continue. And this is what rabbis said regarding Chana. V'himoras nefesh, right? This is what Chana is davening for a child, right? V'himoras nefesh, and she's embittered, her soul is embittered. V'tispalel al Hashem. It says a very interesting phrase over there that she prayed upon Hashem, right? So the Gemara in Bracha says over there, shehiticha dvorim klapei mala. She threw her words towards heaven, right? So again, there's two ways to translate this. So the simple way that I always understood translating it is that she was harsh. She kind of like she threw her words towards above, meaning she didn't just speak politely. She was quite strong with her words, right? But he's gonna explain it differently. He's gonna say Rotzeloimer. What does this mean to say? Hagam shehi atzma hoisamoras nefesh, that even though she herself was bitter, right? Im kol zeh, meaning even though she was experiencing her physical bitterness and her depression and her sadness of not being able to have a child, right? But im kol zeh, but despite all of this, his shlicha tzara mineget, she disregarded her personal suffering, right? And that she didn't care about it at all. But I'm sorry, to daven for this at all. Rather, she transformed her words before Hashem on the tsar that's above. That's how he's understanding those words. He's saying she means she directed her words for the tsar that's above. Not that she threw her words forcefully, like I always understood. He's saying she addressed her words towards what was happening up above, meaning the tsar up above. Not about her personal moras nefesh, her bitterness, but about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's bitterness. Hanase machmas sheyishruya ata b'tzar, which was the result of her being now in tsar. Because again, from every so the idea here really is, if you want to take it to the next level, is the idea is that in everything that a person experiences, right? And again, this goes back to the very essence of what the Sefer is about from the very start, right? Everything that happens in this world, right? We are Tzelem Elokim, right? What does that mean? We are Tzelem Elokim. We are quote unquote the Elokim, the gods of this world. Meaning everything that occurs in this world occurs through us, and as a result, any experience that we experience is a reflection of something up in the spiritual world. Right? So if you're living a life of a real tzaddik lives a life where he understands that every little thing that occurs to him is not a coincidence, number one, and more than that, he sees in that a spiritual symbolism. So therefore, if I'm experiencing right now something like barrenness, right? In case of Chana, I can't have children. That means in my world, imagine I'm the only person alive, right? Right? If the Chayav Adam to say B'shvili Nivra Olam. Imagine I'm the only person alive and I cannot have children, right? What does that mean? That means it's like a symbol of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's attachment to the world. There's something missing. There's no creation. There's no creative forces. There's something missing. And I realize, wow, this is what's going on up above. I am a representative of Shamayim here down below, and I'm experiencing this down below. That means there is a parallel idea happening up above, and I can't believe that this is what is happening. I want to change that reality. I want to make sure that the reality of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His world is a reality of toiv, of creation, of right. So she's davening for the spiritual, meaning for the spiritual transformation that needs to happen, because she's representing something, meaning her physical tsar is a representation that not that Hashem is experiencing tsar, but that the creation is incomplete. The creation is incomplete, and I'm davening. I'm constantly, the tzaddik is only interested in one thing, that the creation should be an expression of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kovod. And so, if I'm experiencing this kind of a tsar, which symbolically is very clearly represents the opposite of this. It represents that there is no of this beauty that Hashem created. There's some suffering here in the world that I am the symbol of. Wow, I can't believe it. What can I do to change the world in such a way that such a thing should not be? So it's not about me at all. I could be davening for another person who has no children. But the point is that the whole idea of barrenness in the world should not exist. So I'm davening for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because again, my idea of barrenness is a symbolism of a certain relationship between Hashem and His creation, and it means something is lacking. So Tzichat Dvorim Klapei Ma'ala means she addressed her words to address the root cause of what's going on, the spiritual problems that are happening in the world, and she's davening for a change in the world on a spiritual level. So, which is a result only as a byproduct is going to have changes in her physical reality. But she's mostly concerned with the spiritual reality of which she's, again, this is a very lofty level, but this is what the ideal is. The ideal is that every person lives a reality where everything is spiritual, nothing is physical. I can't have children. Something is wrong in the spiritual world. I need to change that. That's my responsibility. The world was created for me, and I gotta do something about it. What can I do? I gotta daven. That's the first to reconnect. Right? Like I said before, what is davening? Davening is the unification of Hashem and His creation. Right? Just like the food. Remember the unification of body and soul. So again, there's a continuity of what's going on in the Sefer, and all of the ideas that he's talking about are coming together to make this one point of what really is a human being in the creation that Hashem created. Okay, let's stop here.